The bottom line is this: from the Budget Control Act caps to the so-called OCO account to our increasingly obsolete defense strategy to the modernization bow wave that is coming for each of the services, we are lying to ourselves and the American people about the true cost of defending the nation. The result is that our military's ability to deter conflict is weakening, and should we find ourselves in conflict, it is becoming increasingly likely that our nation will deploy young Americans into battle without sufficient training or equipment to fight a war that will take longer, be larger, cost more, and ultimately claim more American lives than it otherwise would have.
I want to associate myself with the opening statement of Senator McCain in many ways, because I think you all honestly step forward and lead an amazing fighting force. I think we owe the American people honesty about the military budget. And what is going on in the House of Representatives this year is once again a phony budget gimmick to pretend that they are somehow being fiscally conservative because they are using the Overseas Contingency Operations Fund to fund the base operations of our military. That is dishonest on its face. It is inefficient and ineffective for our military. And General Miley, I would like to bring this home to my state. Obviously, we have Fort Leonard Wood, that has dates back to World War II in terms of some of its buildings, and we have temporary military construction dating back to that time, and we are in a aggressive updating of that facility, which is such a key facility for our Army. And I noticed that they even had the nerve to put military construction activities at bases in the United States in the Overseas Contingency Operating Fund. Can you comment about how this impacts your ability on readiness and training when you are being put in a fund that is year to year and not certain and you can't plan with it?
Sure, Senator. I mean, you're exactly right. You can't plan with it, and you can't just go year to year. And things like multi-year contracts and having relationships with the commercial industry in order to upgrade either weapons, equipment, et cetera. Specifically, what you're talking about is infrastructure, which is a key component. We often talk about man, train, equip sort of thing, but also the infrastructure on Army bases is atrophying. The training ranges are not as modern as they should be. Throughput capacities and so on. And we've got a laundry list of detailed, it's not just in Missouri, it's in many other places. That's of great concern, and we've been robbing that account for quite a few years now in order to maintain readiness or to pay for the war. So that's another area of great concern, is that infrastructure.
And our men and women that have been deployed, they're not deployed for half a year, so we certainly shouldn't fund their money for half a year. General Goldfein, I also had an opportunity to go to 139th Airlift Wing over the last few weeks. And, you know, it is the Top Gun of airlift in terms of training. And the frustration there is there seems to be a disconnect, and only you and people that you interact with can fix this. And that is, these are strategic level courses. We're training people from all over the country at this facility in terms of lift, and internationally, I might add, our allies, as you probably well know. But for some reason, they are having to deal with an annual funding issue instead of getting programmatic funding. I don't get that. I don't get why the National Guard Bureau and the Air Mobility Command cannot get together, because you know what they're both doing? They're doing this. One is saying, oh, we're putting it programmatic, and the other one saying, well, we don't have it. And it's really frustrating for that excellent facility to have to continue to beat on this door and have nobody answer. And I would like your commitment today to look into this and see if you can't get this resolved once and for all.